G'day, it's Luke from Plankton Digital here, and I wanted to show you how you can set up lead gen ads. This is a quick how-to. Follows along with a blog post on plankton.com.au/blog. First of all, I'm going to create a campaign, and I'm going to select the lead generation option there. I'm going to choose an ad set, and I'm actually going to make this a remarketing lead gen campaign. I'm certainly finding that using lead generation campaigns as part of a remarketing campaign is really quite effective, because you're kind of targeting perhaps people that have already visited a certain section on your website, and they tend to be qualified. The other thing with lead generation ads is that you're actually targeting people on mobile devices more often than not, whilst you can target people on desktop. Targeting people on mobile devices. So, these are usually the people that will visit your website on a mobile device, but not fill in a contact form or a subscription form because they can't be bothered typing in their email address or entering data via their mobile device. So this is a really good way, because one of the great things that, we'll just call this test campaign. One of the great things about lead gen campaigns is that Facebook actually pre-populates the form data for you. So I'm just going to click on create. Now I've got my test campaign set up here. I'm going to jump into and set up this remarketing. I've actually already got one already set up, but we'll just go and choose my page here. Set a daily budget. Because this is going to be a remarketing campaign, setting a low budget is pretty fine, because I'm not going to be targeting a whole lot of people. I don't get tens of thousands of visitors to my site daily, unfortunately, but that's cool. So edit audience here. And now I'm going to jump in and find my this remarketing list. Now this is actually anyone who's visited a Facebook categorized blog post on my blog. So fairly targeted, well, highly targeted audience. You can see that there's only 630 people in Australia. But if I remove this, it bumps up to 4,300, which is great. It's a nice little list there. Now I could combine this with other interests. For example, if let's say I did have a massive audience, I could combine this with other interests like Facebook Power Editor, for example. You can actually target as an interest, just to really segment this down. Or, for example, small business owners, I might want to niche that right down. In this case, I'm just going to leave it as is. And now that's our audience set up, ready to go. So I'm just going to, so we don't get confused, I'm just going to change that to remarketing too. Now we're going to create an ad. Now here's where I'll just say LG for lead gen. O1 is my ad. Create. Now here's where obviously, depending on your business, you're going to have different calls to action and then obviously different text. Let's say I'm just going to say, talk to me about your Facebook ads. Talk to me about your Facebook ads frustrations. I can help. Let's just say I can help. I'm going to select an image, and here we go. Here's a lovely image of me. Look, you probably want to spend a little bit more time on your ad than that. But you get the idea. Now, coming down here, we have different calls to action. I'm going to choose learn more, but we do have get quote, download, apply now, and also subscribe. Just going to click learn more. Now, I do already have a form set up, but I'm just going to create a new one, and that way you can actually see all the different options that you have at your fingertips when you're creating a lead gen ad. So I'm just going to call this test lead gen ad. Next. Now, by default, Facebook will collect and autofill an email field and a full name field. Now there are lots more options, which is great. When I do my ads, I actually advertise in multiple countries. So it's actually good for me to get an idea of where people are. And once again, if people have actually included in their own Facebook profile the country of origin, Facebook will once again actually auto-populate this. And if people have any of this information automatically in their Facebook profile, Facebook will automatically populate a field with this data. So I'm just going to, for the sake of it, I'm just going to fill in, or just going to request a couple of these fields. I certainly wouldn't go over the top, particularly when collecting people's information for lead generation. Less is more. They're more inclined to fill out a form if they don't have to jump through so many hoops. But for the sake of this example, this will just show you what there is available. We also have the ability to ask a question. Now this is pretty cool for numerous industries. I can think of particularly financial service industries. People who are businesses who might be wanting to collect leads for, let's say, a car insurance, for example, or a car loan. Education, if you're a education provider, once again, there's certainly some options there for you. Now, one of the things that you can do is you can actually create multi-choice questions. So either, if we leave this blank, it's open-ended, but if I want to create multi-choice, there we go. So then they'll appear as a multi-choice question within the form. So click on next. Now you do need to have a privacy policy on your website. I'll just type in mine, which I think is that's one thing you do need. Look, if you're using WordPress, it's pretty easy to set one up. There's some default, there's not default, there are some plugins available for WordPress where you can automatically create a privacy policy and set up a page. So it's pretty simple and easy to do. I'm not a lawyer, just as a disclaimer. So it might be something you want to have checked out. Add a link to your website. Now, what you should do here is actually have some sort of thank you page where after people have actually come to the end of this Facebook form, they can actually click and they go through to your website. I'd suggest some sort of thanks for your inquiry. We'll be in touch within X number of hours or X number of business days. Certainly good practice to thank people for signing up to your form. Going back to that too, if you'd chosen the download call to action when someone clicks through, that's when you'd include a link to the download on your website as an example. So you can see here, this is a bit of a preview of what people will see, and there's the questions that they have. These fields will be automatically populated, as will those, as will those, as will that. Now, create form. So there it is. There's my ad. Fortunately, I can't show you the preview here. That's okay. But as simple as that, this will appear within mobile newsfeed. So once again, people will click on the Learn More. They'll still remain in Facebook's interface. Most of those fields that we chose will be pre-populated with data from their Facebook profile. And the only thing hopefully they'll have to click on is that multi-choice question that we asked. Now, where does all that data go? It actually goes into your Facebook page. So if you actually go to your Facebook page and click on Publishing Tools, I've got a bookmark for this, but you click on Publishing Tools and then you click on Lead Ads Forms, and there's the test one I set up. Here's one I actually created yesterday. It's got a couple of leads in there already, and a couple of others that I've set up previously. So clicking on the download link will actually download a CSV, so you can then see the people and the data that's been collected. There are a couple of services that connect to Facebook's API, particularly CRMs. I think Salesforce is one of them. It's a pretty short list at the moment. Hopefully that will grow over time. So if you don't use, I think there's only a handful, and I can't remember the names of them off the top of my head, but there are a couple of the more popular CRMs. Infusionsoft might be one of them as well. There is an element of, I guess, manually collecting these, and I'd suggest that you obviously look at them daily and do what I've done and just use a bookmark if you're not able to connect your CRM to this. There you go. That's Facebook lead ads. I hope you test them, and I hope they're beneficial for your business. Cheers.